This is the Rest of Everest video podcast, an almost unabridged expedition experience. Episode 8, The Friendship Highway.
Well, hello again, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to the Rest of Everest video podcast. I'm John Miller. I'm all alone today as Ben's up in the Rockies in Colorado getting certified in some backcountry medicine, and Major is lucky enough to be in Alaska this week. He's actually volunteering to help fix up some houses south of Anchorage. So it's going to be just me, and I thought I'd take the time to thank everyone for all the great emails I've been receiving for the show. It's really gratifying to hear from all of you out there, and I reply to every email, so keep them coming. I also want to say thanks to whomever wrote the great review in the iTunes Music Store for my podcast. It's really appreciated. I'm really glad you enjoyed the podcast, and we have a lot more coming up. So today we get up onto the top of the Tibetan Plateau, and this is where I keep saying everything changes once you get into Tibet. And I think this episode's really going to prove that. Completely different landscape. So let's head in. Let's take a look. Okay, this is where we left off last time. So this is right where we parked our car, and that's the road. That's the part of the Friendship Highway that comes out of Zhangmu. That's just crazy. It's not much of a road, but it certainly does the trick. You can see how far it drops. You can tell why so many people stop there. It's a great vantage point to see what you've just endured. Come here. I was having a blast with that little camera that Nomad Expeditions loaned me. It was so small. I rarely deal with cameras that small, so it was fun just to walk around shooting different things. There are all these different cows everywhere.
Come here. Come on. Come on. I love you. I love you. I'm not gonna eat you.
These are definitely not American cattle. They just look so different. They've got long fur.
So we meet again, Mr. Cow.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But these are not yaks. These are cow. We see yaks later on. Again, the only vehicles you'll see, besides the trucks and everything, are Toyota Land Cruisers. I was really impressed by everything is Toyota Land Cruisers. They're everywhere. And see, this was the middle of April, or just before the middle of April, so it was... Spring was just coming to that part of the plateau. Now here is some traditional Tibetan dress with the women all wearing aprons. And just such friendly people. Just beautiful clothing. Really striking against that sort of brown and tan background. Now we're getting into it, getting up to the snow line. This is where everything really does start to change. And this is the little town of Nialam, and this is where people typically on expeditions come. They spend a day or two here just breathing the higher altitude air. And we didn't stay a night here. We just stopped here for lunch.
Long. I'll serve you guys.
Use my better camera, John.
Oh, you got it here?
It's like breakfast almost. To break up the mountain man hot sauce. We did good on cameras, man. Got a good mix between the one you. See, now I want to break into my Italian. Mi grazie. Mi grazie.
That's Pempa serving there. Always on top of things. Oh, you might notice we're using chopsticks. That's another thing that kind of surprised me. I didn't realize we'd be using chopsticks, but that's, I guess that's from the Chinese influence there.
Yeah. I want to break into Spanish because that's what you know, even though... Yeah, cauliflower. Hey, so much red meat. Extra.
第三天时之后，在熊皮的撤离环过程中，我们并没有碰见过它们的仪式。倒是河床最大的。
This was, I'm not actually quite sure what altitude Neelam is at, but this was about the last time that you actually felt like eating. Once you get up to higher altitudes, your appetite just disappears. You start feeling the effects of the altitude, and it's just a struggle to eat. You have to force down every bite until you get acclimated. Except for Ben. Ben can eat a feast no matter what altitude he's at. Always impressed by that. Quite a view out the window. Those are just foothills.
Big though. Looks like what? Looks like a lentil. Only the finest, huh?
A lot of people complained about how much rice you have to eat on these expeditions and everything, and actually I was vegetarian for 7 or 8 years and it didn't bother me at all. I actually really enjoyed all the food that we had for this entire expedition. Now we're getting some altitude. Starting to work our way up to about 14,000 feet. Now that's Tibet. That is classic Tibet in the area of Tibet we were at. It's desert and very little vegetation. Pempa crashed out. Completely different from Nepal and from the part of the Friendship Highway that took us here, where it was all sort of tropical, kind of almost rainforest-like in places. And then it's night and day. All of a sudden, it's just desert. Now, I'm a big fan of the desert, and I just really enjoyed myself. When I didn't have a pounding headache, which was most of the time, but still really enjoyed myself. And again, there's just people walking around. You're never alone for very long. There's always someone around. And they just walk great distances, getting from one place to another. Now, I believe that's a mileage marker. The top number, I believe, is how many kilometers since the border. And the larger lower number is how many miles to Beijing. Everything is all in reference to Beijing, And Tibet actually has its own, is on Beijing time, which is on Chinese time, and China only has one time zone, even though just an enormous country, but only has one time zone. And so when you're in Tibet and you're writing emails back and you're trying to say when something happened, you say whether you're on Nepali time or whether you're on, which is, 12 hours different from mountain time in the US, and then Beijing time is 14 hours different. Some people use Indian time, which is, I think, 12 and a half hours. Could be wrong on that, but you have 3 different time zones that people keep track of at base camp. Caulked all of the joints. Now these Toyota Land Cruisers, they do get flat tires or they break down once in a while, but the drivers jump out and suddenly start working on the vehicles, and before you know it, they're repaired. They certainly know how to maintain these vehicles. And it's quite a nice view whenever you do get to stop. Alright, now this is a pass. I believe this is Lobluma Pass, but I could be wrong on that, so don't quote me. But it's high. It's I think it's over 5,000 meters, so that's going to be over 16,000 feet. And a lot of the numbers that I'll start saying are going to be in meters, since we're not in the United States, which is a good thing. And you get these just the prayer flags everywhere. Now, at first glimpse, I thought that it was just a lot of garbage there, but it turns out that it's just shards of cloth. They're all prayer flags, and all of these passes have these prayer flags all strung up like this, and it's striking. Very windy up there. Once prayer flags are put up, you don't typically take them down. You just let them stay where they are. Now there's the real Himalaya. There's some high peaks. Those are just massive, massive mountains. Now we had all been asleep and we came across this piece of road here. And one by one, Ben woke up, I woke up, Major woke up, all within about a minute. And then all of a sudden, this is what happened.
That's it.
So what just happened there, Ben?
We just came around a corner and bam, there it was. Everest just right in front of us. Finally. I can't believe it.
What was your reaction?
Absolutely just awestruck. I mean, finally, 4 years I've worked for this thing. I've given every ounce of energy for this. Everything. And, finally I can look right at it.
You knew right off the bat.
Oh, yeah. It didn't take that long. I saw it and knew. That's it.
Could you see it before today?
Not like this. Not with my own eyes.
What were the words that came out of your mouth? When we came around the turn, what did you say?
Woo!
What'd you say?
Holy shit. It popped right out. It's huge. It's right there, I mean, I've worked so long. I mean, I've given hour after hour after hour after day after day after day after everything you can imagine. And finally, I'm here. I can see it. It's here. and I get to climb it. And that's what it was all worth. I mean, that's the point. It's not about, oh, Everest's been done. It's looking at it. It's being here and it's looking at it and doing it myself. Being here and believing it's possible to do it and showing up to do it.
You weren't real thrilled seeing Everest from the Thai International and then the Buddha Air. So, I mean, I know I kept asking you, how do you feel? And you're like, this isn't it yet. So now this is it.
This is it. I mean, it's right there. We're going to touch it soon. Another day. And that's, you know, you can see it through an airplane. You can see it on television, but your own eyes, you know, that's it. I mean, that's the mountain. That's how you respect it. That's how you know. And so we're here.
You seem slightly at a loss for words.
Now's not the time to talk, you know. I've worked so hard, I'd like to take a little bit of time just to enjoy this life I'm trying to live. I spend so much time just trying to get here to do these kinds of things. People don't realize that, you know, I try very hard just to, at some point, at least relax a little bit and take it in and not write it, you know, not write about it, not film it, not photograph it. Just see it. Just see it.
Now you have to keep in mind that Ben at this point is 23 years old, so he's spent a good portion of his life working towards getting up into these high mountains. And it really was an amazing experience to see Everest for the first time from the ground. Really do have to admit that was something special. So, thanks so much for joining us for this episode. Next time, we spend some time in the little town of Tingri, and that's quite a place. It's where we get face to face with the reality of we are not in a city anymore. Not that we want to be in a city, but the country living in Tibet is not what us Westerners are accustomed to. So we have some adventures there. And, you know, again, I just want to say thanks to everyone for the emails. It really means a lot to me. And I hope you continue to send them. And those of you who haven't watched too much of the episodes, you know, go back to the beginning. Check out episode number 0, the intro, and work your way forward. And I think you'll really enjoy this trip. We're going to be here for a long time. And you'll get to know us all pretty well, and I think by the time this is all wrapped up, you'll really have felt like you've really come along on the adventure with us. So thanks so much, guys, and we will see you next week. The Rest of Everest is being downloaded all over the world every week. If you enjoy watching and would like to show your support, well, I've put a donation button on the website, www.therestofeverest.com. You can give any amount you'd like, and in return, I'll give you access to the video and audio dispatches I sent back while we were actually at Everest. It's pretty interesting stuff. If you donate $40 or more, I'll even throw in an iPod-compatible version of the film Everest: The Other Side. That's the project the entire podcast here is based on. As always, our announcer is Marlon May, and our music is provided by Wendy Wu. Check her out at wendywoo.com. Thanks so much, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for watching The Rest of Everest. For more information on the expedition, please visit therestofeverest.com.